Animal Hospital update has officially dropped, and we are finally diving into the brand new lore. And trust me, this isn't just a basic map expansion. This update completely flips the script on what we thought we knew about the story so far. We are getting a ton of new details to dissect, starting from smaller additions like new visitors, new weather, and finding out what actually happened to Liz after her latest article, to some way darker and deeper things like the tragic end of the former intern and some massive clues pointing to where these anomalies actually originated from, and it seems like it's not from Dr. Harlow like we originally thought. So what does all of this mean for the bigger picture? Let's break down everything. To start off, let's talk about what the developers posted on their Discord server. They added a new event with Dr. Harlow where he loses an item and you have to help him find it. There is also a lot of new lore to discover, more talking scenes for Liz, and new behaviors for the people visiting the hospital. There is a brand new special shift that happens when it rains, which brings in a whole new type of patient. They also made a lot more quality of life changes to the settings, like the skip dialogue option, spectator mode, rejoin, etc. When I hopped into the game to try everything out, I managed to see almost all of these new features. I saw the rainy weather, talked to Liz, and finally got into Dr. Harlow's office. But the two biggest things you should definitely care about are the new rain shift and the secrets hidden inside the doctor's office. Let's first talk about the rain shift, because it completely changes how you play the game. This rain shift is a special event that lasts for a whole shift, just like the slime event or the emergency shifts. When the rain starts, all the normal patients are gone. Instead, you get patients that look like sea creatures. Even though they look like underwater animals, they can still turn into monsters, so you have to be just as careful as always. The devs said this shift can start randomly anytime after you finish shift 3. During my run, it showed up on shift 8. It is a bit hard to find compared to a normal emergency shift, but you will definitely see it if you keep playing. Once you are in the rain shift, the whole hospital looks different. The roof is leaking, so water drips from the ceiling and you will see puddles all over the floor. The fish patients talk in a really weird language that the game can't translate, so you just have to guess what they want. One really interesting thing I noticed is that no fires started at all during this shift. It makes a lot of sense because the whole place is wet, so I'm convinced it's a feature of this shift, but if any of you actually had a fire start while it was raining, make sure to let me know in the comments. The best part of this shift is that you get one free sanity point every 10 or 20 seconds just for standing there. You don't have to do anything to get it. This is incredibly helpful if you are trying to get that tough achievement where you can't use coffee or chocolate to heal your sanity. Since you can't eat or drink to feel better, getting free sanity from the rain is a massive help. Okay, with the rain shift out of the way, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the secret event with Dr. Harlow. In the older version of the game, Dr. Harlow would just go outside to grab a box from the guys in hazmat suits and carry it back to his room. This time, he gets 3 different boxes and asks you to help him carry them into his office. To get this event to happen, you have to play for a really long time. It doesn't show up for me until shift 16, which takes about 1.5 hours of playing. But once you get there and help him with the boxes, you finally get to see inside his private area. When you walk in, you will go down a hallway that splits into 3 directions. 2 of the doors are locked, but one is open and leads right into Dr. Harlow's office. This room is packed with secrets. If you look behind his desk, there is a handwritten to-do list. It is actually pretty funny, but it also has some creepy hints. The list says 1. Process Ron's shipment before it processes itself. 2. Order more coffee and then order more coffee again, and he wrote a note asking why he wrote it twice, but decided to keep both. 3. Tell Ron to stop signing his emails with Garns because they only work 12 feet apart. 4. Recount the patients in Wing B and try to get the same number twice. 5. Feed the thing in the supply closet with a big warning not to put this on the official schedule again. 6. Stop calling the medicine the batch when visitors are around. And 7. Sleep, which he says is optional. That list tells us a lot about how chaotic this hospital is. The mention of feeding the thing in the supply closet is especially creepy because it means there is another creature locked up somewhere that we haven't seen yet. Right next to that list, there is a sticky note that says call 808 for cleanup. There is also a burned photo on his desk that shows a woman and a little girl who are probably Dr. Harlow's wife and daughter. If you look at his computer screen, you can read an email from Ron in management. The email is about a new shipment of raw supplies coming in tonight. Ron says they have to turn it into medicine right away because they are running out of stock. He also writes that the last batch of medicine that sat out overnight started looking different in the morning according to the staff, but he tells Harlow not to worry about it. This email is pretty unsettling because it shows that the medicine they are giving to the animals is made from some weird raw material that changes on its own if it sits out too long. While you are looking around the room, Ron actually walks in to talk to Dr. Harlow. Ron complains that Rathu keeps breaking into his office and might steal important papers like contracts or records. Dr. Harlow defends Rathu and says he is a good kid who has a good heart. Ron doesn't care and says a good heart doesn't put his papers back where they belong. Harlow promises to take care of it. If you look at the right side of the room, you can see a broken air vent on the wall. This is definitely how Rathu has been sneaking in and out of the office. On the left side of the room, there is a bookshelf with a book called On the Discovery and Nature of the Anomaly Gene. The author is a man named John Arthur Anomaly. This is a huge detail because if you shorten his name, sound exactly like Anomaly. He is the guy who started this hospital 30 years ago. On another bookshelf on the right, you can find 2 secret incident reports about the old intern, Winget, who worked here before us. The first report is an interview with Ron. The interviewer asks him where he was when the incident happened. Ron says he was walking down the hall to his room when he heard a loud scream. He ran into the room and saw the intern, Winget. Ron says some kind of wild creature was grabbing Winget from under the bed. It had a tight grip on his legs and was incredibly strong. Winget tried really hard to break free, but the creature pulled him completely under the bed, and then everything went quiet. The interviewer asks if anyone else was there, and Ron says it was just him and the intern. When asked if he tried to help, Ron admits that he froze because it happened so fast, and by the time he got to the bed, there was nothing under it. The creature was gone, and Winget was unalive. The second report continues the interview. The interviewer asked Ron what he did next. Ron says he reported it to Dr. Harlow, who came to the room and told him not to worry because the company would handle it. Then the interviewer asks if anyone has asked about the intern since it happened. Ron says no, and that is the weirdest part. It is like everyone just forgot about him, and nobody ever says Winget's name anymore. The interviewer then tells Ron that they need to forget about him too and just get a new intern. Ron is left confused and shocked as the report ends. All of these details give us some really interesting clues about the whole story, and we can start putting some theories together. First of all the monsters might actually be connected to the hospital's founder, John Arthur Anomaly. Since his name is basically John Anomaly, the monsters might be the result of experiments to try and bring him back to life or make him live forever. 30 years is a long time to keep a secret, and it seems like this hospital was built specifically to study this weird anomaly gene. And according to all the interaction we observed, Dr. Harlow doesn't seem like the real bad guy here. He has a photo of his family on his desk, which shows he has a normal life outside of this weird job. He also tries to protect Rathu because he thinks Rathu is a good kid. He is probably just a regular doctor who got stuck working a really creepy job for a bad company, and now he is just trying to get through his shifts without getting in trouble, but Ron is a different story. He is way more dangerous than he looks. We used to think he was just a simple paper pusher who did the taxes and paperwork, but the email shows he is actually in management and can even give direct orders to the doctor. He was also the only one who saw the old intern get dragged away, and he seemed pretty shaken up about it, but he still went along with the cover-up. It feels like Ron is going to be a major character later on, and he might even turn out to be one of the main bad guys we have to deal with in future updates. Overall, this update is packed with some really interesting secrets, and it makes the game's story so much more mysterious. It is great to see the devs adding this much depth to the world. So what do you guys think about all the new lore? Do you still think Dr. Harlow is evil, or you think Ron is actually the real bad guy here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That is all for today's video, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.